How's it going, everybody? Mark Maker here, and you know, I'm not a commentary channel. I'm not someone who talks about specific topics regularly, but this particular topic kinda needs my attention, considering one of the most popular types of content I make is related to it. You've all read the title of the video, you already know what I'm gonna talk about, and that's the Cawthon situation. I'm going to talk about what's happened, my thoughts on it, and how this will affect my future content. If I make any mistakes in summing up what's happened, please correct me in the comments. So it all started on June 10th, when some doxed information of Scott's was leaked to the public. I'll comment on the doxing itself later, but for now I just want to focus on presenting the events. Some of the information that had been doxed were his political donations, which included donations to political figures who were adamantly against the LGBT community, and basically do everything in their power to suppress the group. One of the political figures he donated to was, disappointingly, the Moldy Orange himself. It took Scott Cawthon until June 13th to comment on the situation. I'll read aloud some highlights, but if you want to read the full address, I'll provide the link in the description. But the main quotes I feel need the most highlighting are these. Even if there were candidates who had better things to say to the LGBT community directly, and bigger promises to make, I believed that their stances on other issues would have ended up doing much greater harm to those communities than good. All of this explanation, I fear, is wasted, as people don't want to discuss with one another anymore. They want endless apologies and submission. People who are expecting those from me will get neither. I'm a Republican, I'm a Christian, I'm pro-life. I believe in God. I also believe in equality and in science and in common sense. Despite what some may say, all of those things can go together. That's not an apology or promise to change, it's the way it's always been. Finally, on the 16th of June, Scott posted this image on his website. It's his retirement letter. There's not really much about the letter itself that I feel the need to discuss, rather the retirement aspect as a whole, so if you want to read the full letter, you can either pause the video now and take a moment to read it, or you can read it using the link in the description. That's basically the gist of the situation as a whole. Now, when it comes to my thoughts and feelings on everything, I had a lot of mixed and conflicting feelings all throughout. When I'd first heard about the donations, I had hoped that it was either a mistake or that he didn't realize who he was donating to. But once he made his statement, that blew that theory out of the water. And on the topic of the dox itself, I just want to say that I don't care who you are, I don't care if you're like the worst person in the world, nobody deserves to be doxed. I still firmly believe that in spite of what's come out, Scott did not deserve to be doxed, and he certainly did not deserve mountains of harassment or threats on his pregnant wife. Apparently, the person who doxed him said that they only did it for the lulz and wanted to turn him into a joke and a laughingstock. It was wholly inappropriate, and I am not impressed. Back to commenting on the situation itself, though. In his statement, Scott said, "I've always been supportive of creators and have tried to treat everyone fairly and treat everyone with dignity and respect. I've never cared about anyone's race, religion, gender, or orientation." And in his resignation letter, he said, "I have been shown tremendous love and support over this past week, a lot of which has come from the LGBTQ community. And while FNAF will always have a special place in my heart, which I'll go into more later, I'm sad to say that I don't think the creator of the franchise understands how this works. I mean no disrespect towards him at all with what I'm about to say, but in my honest opinion, I think Scott should have known better. Like, it's one thing to say you love the LGBT community, but to say you love them and then donate money to somebody as violently discriminatory as the Moldy Orange and other political figures who believe people like me and my friends don't deserve basic human rights, it paints a picture of hypocrisy. Do I believe that he supported these candidates out of malice towards this community? No, but that doesn't make him any less of a hypocrite, even if he isn't fully aware of his hypocrisy. He can say he loves us and mean it, but he still did what he did, and actions speak louder than words in this circumstance. It should be noted that in the middle of all the drama, he was a part of a charity livestream with, I believe it was Doco, and the charity they supported was the Trevor Project, which is an LGBT-focused charity. And while some people may be content with this and be able to point to it like, see, he's not homophobic or transphobic, he's giving his money to an LGBT charity. Personally, I can't help but see it as performative. I've never heard of Scott Cawthon being part of a charity livestream specifically for the LGBT community before this situation happened, so the fact that he only did this during the course of the drama is kinda, for lack of a better term, it's kinda sus to me. And some people will say, but his colleagues and the people he works with do all kinds of stuff for the LGBT community. And that's all fine and dandy, but those are his co-workers, not himself. And as far as I'm aware, he was more so the kind of person who was like, yeah, you go ahead and do that, I'm not gonna be a part of it. And you can't say someone supports something just because their co-workers do. Oh, what's that? Your co-worker supports child labor? I guess that means you do too. See the problem there? Just because his colleagues did some cool stuff for the community, it doesn't mean he supports us. And just because he says he loves us, that also doesn't mean he supports us. If he really supports us, I feel like he should have shown that sooner instead of waiting until people knew that he financially supported homophobes and transphobes to do so. One other thing I want to touch on is the portion of his resignation letter where Scott says this: someone else will eventually be running the show, someone of my choosing and someone that I trust. Essentially, he's handing the reins of FNAF over to someone else. That's to be expected from someone who's retiring. I just have a couple of things that I hope to see from whoever the new owner of FNAF is going to be. One, I hope that they will be as lenient with fan merch policies as Scott was. There are so many artists out there who have been able to make beautiful designs related to FNAF and have been able to sell them as merch on sites like TeePublic, Redbubble, Etsy, and more. I should know, because I'm one of those artists. If the rules about FNAF fan merch becomes as strict as Undertale or Bendy, it's going to be a huge blow to the community, one that they likely might not be forgiven for by many artists who have relied on this. 2, if they are in support of the LGBT community, I hope they actually show it. Support LGBT charities genuinely, not as a performance. Hire and promote queer artists, and if you really feel like treating us, give us some canon queer characters in the franchise. That's really all I have to say about the situation itself. But how will this affect the content I produce? Well, as far as Percy and Springtrap goes, I've been wanting to draw that series to a close for a good long time, even before all this happened. I'll likely open the Ask box one more time for a short period, only answer a few more questions, wrap up the story, and that'll be it. Maybe I'll do a few Percy and Springtrap Let's Plays here and there, but as far as the main story will be concerned, that'll be over. And after the next episode I make, I won't be making any more. I cannot stress this enough. The Scott Cawthon situation has nothing to do with my decision. What happened will have no impact on my content, but I feel like I needed to announce this and make it clear here so that people don't think I ended the series because of what Scott did. I have been intending on doing this for a few months by now. I'll be sure to let you guys know when I reopen the Ask box for the final time, so keep your eyes on my community page. That's all for now, my little starlings. I know this has been a very different kind of video, but if you stuck around to the ending and really listened to everything I had to say, I really appreciate you. Here's to hoping that everything is uphill from here. Hey, thanks for watching! If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, you should click the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified about all future uploads and live streams. If you'd like a shout out on every live stream I do, access to custom channel emojis, and many more perks, please consider becoming a stellar supporter by clicking the blue join button next to the subscribe button. That's all for now, see you in the next video, stay inspired, stay creative, and peace out!